Hello, everyone. My name is Marjorie Roman, and it's such a pleasure for us to have another episode of Creating Wealth with the one and only Robert G. Allen. And today we're going to talk about a specific group of people. We know that there are so many careers out there, and one of them is the military. And we are super grateful for the people that are working in the military right now or that are veterans. And we got some questions from social media talking about, is it possible to invest in real estate while you're on active duty in the military?
Usually you can retire from the military if you put in 20 years of service. 20 years, you walk away with a stream of income that's permanent from the government. So that's good. That's smart. And that's why a lot of people do the military, realizing it's a shorter term retirement plan, frankly.
Right.
And so they don't make quite as much money while they're in the military, but they end up with this benefit of retiring and getting the government send them check for the rest of their lives. So yes, my father-in-law, he was in the military, and he was a captain, and he was a doctor, an eye surgeon, and yeah, and I know when he passed away, his wife got his retirement benefits as a result of that. So I know that it lasts a lifetime, even longer than a lifetime. But what I want to talk about here today is how you can be in the military for 20 years and leave the military with your pension and $1 million net worth. Yeah, let's make $1 million while we're in the military. Now, there are a lot of strategies that will fit the problems of a military member. Obviously, one of the disadvantages is that you don't make quite as much money as ordinary people in the world would, slightly lower. Number two is you're moving a lot. You're going to move from, place to place all around the world if you're in the military, usually. And therefore, that's why they call them military brats. They've got friends all over the world because their parents moved from place to place to place. So sometimes that can be a disadvantage because you just show up, you're there for 6 months, and then you get transferred to another place. But you've bought a piece of real estate, for example. You use your VA benefit to buy a property, and now you have to move. So could you rent it out? Yeah, most people would sell it. And if they sell it, well, then they get a little bit of profit, and off they go to the next city. I'm not sure about the military benefits. Can you use the VA benefit again to buy another property? Honestly, don't know the answer to that question. But if you're in the military, you know the answer to that question. And if you buy another VA house in another city, fine, good for you. I would recommend you don't sell the properties. That when you buy it, that you use your VA benefit and you keep it and you rent it out. That means you're going to have some problems because you're going to be a long-term renter, a distant landlord, an absentee landlord. And there are some disadvantages to that. Your absentee landlord means your tenant might beat up the property and leave you, with a damaged property. And so there are some strategies you can use. One of the strategies would be to do a lease option. Therefore, yes, you keep it, you lease option it to maybe it's another member of the military. And so you check out their background, make sure they're legitimate, they're stable, and you lease option it from them, meaning they give you a lease option fee, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You lock in the price down the road. So if you bought it, say, for $200,000, and you say, well, I'll give you a 3-year option, and the price in 3 years will be $250,000. And it will apply $500 a month, the rent you pay, and the rent they're going to pay is more than the mortgage that you have on it, the monthly payment, because it's a lease option. We're willing to go into lease options maybe in another one of our strategies where I can go really deep on it, because some of these, I'm sure you got a million questions on this one. I'm just trying to answer how you solve it for a military person. You lease option it. Therefore, 3 years from now, the seller can buy it for whatever price you pegged it at, and you apply $500 a month towards that 3-year lease option figure. That's $6,000 a year. So they have an incentive. That's in 3 years, they have $18,000 worth of equity that's built up in this property that's priced at $250,000, and your mortgage has gone down. Therefore, you have more equity, and you have $32,000 worth of cash sitting there in this property that you lease option to somebody else. Well, what if they don't lease option it? What if they don't buy it? What if they say, I don't want it now. I'm being transferred to another country in the world, right? Well, then you just lease option it to somebody else.
That's true. And at the same time, you also had a really good tenant that was taking care of the property.
Yes,
they were interested in
right.
keeping the property nice and tight and clean and organized and nothing broken because they were thinking on possibly getting it.
So what I'm trying to say for the military, they have certain challenges that are different than ordinary, go to work everyday people. But there are strategies for fixing that, for solving that. I would think if you were keeping all those properties and you did 10 moves in your career, like every 2 years you moved, you ended up with 10 properties at the end of a 20-year period of time. Those 10 properties would probably have an equity of at least $500,000 to $1 million in them, depending upon what's happening to the economy. But 20 years from now, you buy a property every 2 years, you're more than likely going to be a millionaire. Now, what if you don't have $1 million in equity? Meaning, if you sold it, you could sell it for $1 million in net profit to you. But I told you I want you to be a millionaire by the time you retire in 20 years. Well, what if you only have $500,000 in equity? Well, but you own several $1 million worth of real estate. You have a property every 2 years. That's going to be at least $200,000, maybe $300,000 for every one of those properties. So you got $1 million to $2 million worth of real estate. That's increasing in value. So your equity's going up, and eventually the mortgages are going to be paid off.
That's true.
So the one you bought at the very first part of the 20 years will have been almost paid off by the time you get to the 20th year. So there are all kinds of ways of making that property increase in value. Maybe you're fixing it up in the 20th year and you're increasing its value even more. Maybe you're changing the zoning. Maybe you're adding a bedroom. All that stuff in the 20th year, you're going to be a millionaire if you just buy a property every 2 years. But if you're really smart, you buy a property every year. And if you're really, really, really smart, you buy two.
That's true. And I feel like one of the advantages of being in the military is, despite they move into different bases and different cities, that gives you the opportunity to actually look at different cities and look at real estate in different cities. You can actually just have one realtor in every single city that you go to and have those creative realtors telling you those good deals that you could start tapping into so you can start investing.
So one of our episodes in the future is going to be about how do you sit at your computer and look at every property in the United States. So if you're in the military and you know where you're being transferred, you can literally go into that city and notice the vacant properties in that city, the properties where they have absentee owners that are living outside of that state, and most of them don't want that property there. They think it is an albatross, not as a benefit. And so you can literally go in advance and find deals in your next city so you move into it, and when you move into it, you're immediately making profit because you're buying below the market.
That's true.
Now, in addition to that, you can use these same softwares to go and look at the property in the very same city that you are leaving. And you keep tabs on that marketplace from your new city by just opening up a software. It costs like $50 a month. It's just almost nothing. And for $50 a month, you can see the available properties in every city in the entire United States. And some of this software, it's just amazing. It's just fantastic.
That's right.
Just search it online, how to find properties available in any city at any time. You'll find all kinds of them. Some are more expensive, some are less expensive. One of my favorite ones for properties that are listed is called privy.com. Another one is Real Now. I think Real Now, something like that. But anyway, we're going to go deep on that. In fact, I'm going to take you on one of our future times where let's go online. Let me show you. Let me show you where they are. Point is, if you're in military, you don't have to wait. You can look right from wherever you are. You can look in the car driving to your next city.
That's true.
You can find deals before you get there, not through real estate agents. Yes, through real estate agents, and you want to find sellers who are not listed, who are off market. The deals there are even better. So you're in the military, I'll set that as a challenge for you. I challenge you, if you're in the military, that by the time you retire in 20 years, if that's your plan, you not only retire with a stream of income from the government, but you have streams of income from the millions of dollars worth of real estate you bought in the 20 years during that time, and have at least $1 million in equity. Can you do that? Somebody watching this right now is going to do that. Go for it.
That's true. So there are so many opportunities for people that are in the military. As in any other major profession, you can always look into real estate. Now, what happens with people that are already veterans that have already retired from the military? What are some of the strategies that they could use to start getting into the game of real estate?
Same thing I just described to you. You're going to look for highly motivated sellers. Mm-hmm. You just use my system. Now you're out of the military. You got a stream of income. It gives you a little stability. Good for you.
That's true.
Congratulations. But most people who leave the military are going to find something to do anyway. What I love about the stream of income that's so stable from the government, if you can settle yourself so that you can live on that, so that I know it might be less than what your dream is, but try for the next 5 years to just to let that stream of income be your financial freedom. That's what financial freedom means. It means having enough money flowing into you without you going to get it every day, flowing in enough to pay your bills. Don't get a bigger house. Stay in your modest lifestyle.
Right.
And for the next 5 years, do your real estate investing. This is where I can teach you ordinary techniques for buying real estate using the programs that I've created that are powerful. And they're inexpensive, so anybody can do it. Or get a copy of one of my books, or get a free book that I offer off from time to time. It's called The Challenge: How an Unemployed Person Went Off and Made $100,000 in the Next 12 Months. Just use the strategies from your new retired lifestyle to become a millionaire in the next 5 years. If you didn't in the first 20, you can do it in 5 years. Yeah, absolutely.
There's no time for investing into real estate. You can always do it. Either if you're in active duty, if you're a veteran already retired, or even if you are not a member of the military, there are so many multiple strategies that you can use to start investing into real estate. The time is now. Your time is now. We're going to see you on the next episode. And then again, thank you so much again, Bob.
Yeah, your time is now. Your someday is now. Don't wait.
Thank you so much, everyone. And we're going to see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.